We've talked a lot on this show about the fact that Vladimir Putin's government is hiding the truth of what's going on here in Ukraine from everyday Russian citizens. Just yesterday, we heard the Kremlin spokesman say that the photos and the videos of the atrocities in Bucha and other Ukrainian cities were all fake, staged by Ukraine and the West to make Russia look bad. We also know that independent journalists within Russia cannot even call this war a war without fear of potentially facing up to 15 years in prison. So what does that all mean for people in Ukraine who have family back in Russia or in Russian-occupied Crimea? Their loved ones are hearing things from the Kremlin and state-run media that simply don't line up with the reality of what they're living through in real time. I spoke to a few young people in this country about how the facts of this war are affecting their relationships with their immediate family. You're living in a war, and you talk to your mother, who's not here, and you have difficulty having this conversation with her. Tell me why.
Because she lives in Russia, and she watches Russian TV, and she says that she doesn't believe that it's Russian troops are here and that they are bombing our cities and killing our people. So that's why.
So what does she believe? Who does she think is bombing these cities?
I think she doesn't know where is the truth.
So how do those conversations go with you? Because you're in this war, you're frightened. She doesn't really believe that what's going on is happening. So what do you talk about?
She tries to talk about something else, not about war. She tries to ask me about my health, about our weather, and other stuff. And I don't like it.
Who have you got in your family who sees this differently?
So the war started in 2014, and we have our relatives from here who moved to Russia, who lived in Russia, but they were living and studying here. They're mixed, so the part of the family is from Russia, part of the family who is here, but they now live in Russia. So in 2014 and 15, where all of the war started, they were calling us, asking what's happening. So we told them about the revolution, that we would like to be in the EU, that we don't want to be part of Russia, we are not one nation. And then we just had a conversation, very impolite way. They're telling us that we are stupid, that you are idiots, what are you doing, how much US paid you to vote for Poroshenko.
Wow.
In 2014.
And has anything improved in terms of those relationships since 2014, or has it gotten worse now?
It's gotten worse. We don't talk to them.
Where are your parents right now?
Our parents are in Simferopol, Crimea.
And tell me about how this conversation about this war goes with your parents.
Yeah, so we have difficult conversations since 2014. We disagree in a lot of things, and but at that point, we could hold them more of a political debate because none of us was directly impacted by the war. So we can just okay, we have different opinions. We just have to accept this. So we have sort of taboo on certain topics, not to raise them. It not always worked. We had many fights and argued a lot. On 24th of February this year, when the full-scale invasion started, we just received a text from mom, how's it going, if we are alive. And we were really busy fleeing from Kyiv at that time. Then once we arrived, I have never had a real conversation with my mom. She is the most pro-Putin in our family. And I think she also understands that the conversation now can harm both of us. Speaking about my father, who has more moderate views, and he is somehow able to de-escalate the situation. He's able to accept multiple points of view, but he again, as Christina mentioned, tries to avoid any hot topics.
Difficult conversations and a reminder of why it's so important that the rest of the world sees what is truly happening here in Ukraine.